Episode 13, Uncensored Highlights.
Well, we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails in there.
If you are fighting, you have to.
That's what he's got right here is Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, and you see the marks on the ground, basically where the fires were. It's all black. So all the soot's on the ground. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear what he's yelling because A, he has a Qatari accent, and then B, everybody else around is yelling too. You are killers. What type of projection is that? He literally just tried to kill them. These old ladies never hurt a fly in their life, and he's yelling at them that they are killers because they support Israel's right to defend itself from killers just like him and just like the people he supports. If there's one thing that these terrorists excel at, it's propaganda and marketing, but also at projection. I think Douglas Murray says, when it comes to anti-Semitism, tell me what you blame the Jews for, and I'll tell you what you are. Like we mentioned earlier, about projectionism, where they'll just project what they do on other people. We've seen this happen. This is basically the distillation of the entire conflict. So the distillation of the entire conflict is terrorists or terrorist supporters attacking people, and then anytime they try to respond or try to defend themselves or try to stop attacks, like if Israel tries to stop Hamas from shooting 5,000 rockets at them and at towns and villages and cities with people, by the way, not settlements, there are no settlements around Gaza, then Israel gets blamed for doing a massacre and everything like that, when they're just trying to defend themselves, and they're being really careful while trying to defend themselves, right? So this is the thing: blame the victim. Claim that you're the victim and then blame the victim. And this really is a distillation of what's been going on. It's 75 years of this. Because they know we try and avoid bombing mosques or schools or churches or whatever, hospitals, that's what they use as their command center. Israel just annihilated Mohammed Sinwar's brother, who was in charge of the October 7th and who is the current leader of Hamas, in a hospital, right? And everybody says Israel attacks hospitals because Hamas is using hospitals. But then when you drop a bomb on a hospital and children die, everybody's going to blame Israel, when in reality, it's against the laws of war for Hamas to use the hospital as a base of terror. And if it is used as a base of terror, Israel is allowed, according to the laws of war, to bomb
Trump
buildings.
feeds us while Hamas starves us. Take note, everybody. Hamas talks about resistance, weapons, and a steadfast people, but look at how people all over Gaza are going to the Americans to get food. Bless Trump. Thank you, Trump. The one who feeds me, may God bless him. Better than those from Hamas and Qatar, who say stay in your homes and don't cooperate with the Americans and Israelis. No, we'll cooperate with them. We want to eat. If you came to feed me, then I wouldn't have to go to the Americans. But come feed me instead of doing nothing from Qatar while living in comfort. So we're starting to see some of these statements pushing back against Hamas, which actually lines up with a statement from the IDF that we'll run through here in a moment, suggesting that Hamas might continually be losing their grip on the Palestinian population.
And Preston Stewart is really great. He does a phenomenal coverage of both the war in Ukraine and the war in Gaza. Definitely worth giving him a follow and subscribing to his YouTube channel. Like, the missile is basically a robot because it controls itself. The payload is satellites. Those are basically a robot. And then it lands on a drone ship, which is a robot. And it's like a robot takes off, goes to space, drops other robots off in space, then returns to Earth and lands on a robotic ship. And the coolest part is, in order to stabilize it after it lands, they have this little small robot that's pretty heavy that comes to the bottom and literally grabs it to stabilize it, because the ocean could be a rocky place. I remember 10 years ago waiting for the competition to catch up, and everybody's like, 2 months the competition is going to catch up. I was like, let's give them a few years. But it's been a decade and nobody's even attempted it yet. That just shows how complex rocket science is.
He looks like Dumbledore in the middle of a brutal divorce. It's been a terrible, awful year for the Jews. Let's all enjoy this. His hat, I'm pretty sure, is made of paper. That's an obvious fake beard. And what is with the white ribbon? That's what priests do. Jews, we don't do white ribbons. If you're gonna do a hate crime, you can't just Google it, okay? This is what happens if you go to ChatGPT and you say, hey, I want a hate crime at JCC. What should I dress as? His name is Keith Garland. He's 31 years old, and they caught on to the ruse when he walked into the JCC and asked to speak to a rabbi dressed like an Amish guy on a bender.
That would be what you'd get off of Temu, just by the way. I think that's...
Yeah. If you wrote rabbi costume and Temu, that's what you're going to get. But the sad part is that this guy was trying to commit a hate crime. He walked into JCC, for anybody unfamiliar, is a Jewish community center. So he walked into a Jewish community center, and I don't know what he wanted to do, but probably not very good things by the fact that he is a neo-Nazi. But like you said, you got to learn to laugh about what happens, whether it's good or it's bad. You just got to laugh along because life throws you lemons, but you got to enjoy the lemonade.
It's just scary that sometimes it's hard to tell the comedy from the reality and the reality from the
Ever wish your
comedy.
child was a full-blown liberal idiot, desperate to turn them into a Jew-hating extremist who'd rather burn a flag than think for themselves? Harvard University has the answer. For the low price of $500,000, we'll transform your kid into the kind of zealot who sets bags of shit on fire in the street, screaming about whatever CNN's whining about today. Our elite program guarantees they'll swap reason for rage and facts for feelings, faster than you can say protest permit. But wait, there's more. Our tuition doesn't cover the essentials. Blue hair dye, nose piercings, and a weak, flaccid body are sold separately. And don't forget parents, you'll be footing the bill for these. Plus financially supporting your adult child for the rest of their life because they'll never become productive members of society. I work when you can protest.
Results not guaranteed. Side effects include chronic virtue signaling, allergic reactions to logic, and an obsession with trending hashtags. Harvard University is not liable for arrests, property damage, or your kid's newfound hatred of you. Consult your bank account before enrolling.
Yeah, that's really great. Harvard has an endowment of over $5 billion or $10 billion that they haven't touched and they don't want to spend. Instead of that, they've been using taxpayer funds. So this is a very comedic take on that.
Be sure to watch our other clips and shorts and the entire uncensored episode 13 of The Yojo Show.